Hi, welcome to What If MHA Had Digimon? This story needs pre-Izuku, or main character, context in order to know what is going to be happening. So, around the same time that the first quirk starts showing up, a giant digital gate opens. Now this is when the Digimon come through, much like in Cyber Sleuth when Examon came through the giant portal, but instead of, Examon, Crusadermon, Dynastmon, and all the other Royal Knights that wanted to destroy the world, it's just the Digimon that want to come through. Of course, there are evil Digimon that just don't mean any harm, but do cause it. And there's a lot more that comes from the digital world that affects the human world, such as now there's different buildings, certain jobs open up because of it, and in general, Hero Society is different because not only do you have people with quirks, you have people with Digimon, and you have people with Digimon and quirks, since having a Digimon partner is not hereditary, it is chosen at random. For our main character, Izuku, since he is still the main character and nothing has really changed, he will not get a quirk still. But, of course, you came here for the story, so how would I actually go through that? Izuku is growing up. He constantly watches still that All Might video of him saving him. But with All Might in that video comes his Digimon partner that All Might has had for a Dynastmon Digimon. If you don't know who that is, Dynastmon is one of the Royal Knight Digimon, clad in white Digizoid armor, has an incredibly powerful attack, and is all around a good Digimon. Now, you may have heard how I said, instead of, Crusadermon, Dynastmon, and Examon wanting to destroy the world, that's from Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and that has quite a plot. I'm not going to tell you that because, of course, I'm not a jerk who spoils a game. But now we get into the continuation of the actual story. Now, Izuku is always watching that video and thinking, oh, how cool it'll be when I get my quirk. A super powerful one at that, too, I bet. But he also thinks, what if I got a Digimon as well? And he always would not only research on All Might, but also research different Digimon. He would just have a lot of know-how about Digimon and certain aspects of them, the virus, data, neutral types, and vaccine types. I forgot about that type for a second. And all that. He knows a lot about them. He knows about the crests that kind of affect certain Digimon, like how Wargreymon becomes that and has the crest of courage on its back because normally it is a courageous Digimon. And other effects of having a certain crest. He also knows about the Digimentals. He even looks into it and finds out that in this day and age, they're able to create Digimentals so that people can harness its power. Izuku always thinks about that, how the Digimentals are something amazing because they really are affected by outside effects and can digivolve Digimon into Digimon that they would never actually digivolve into, whether it be normally or just because it's considered an armored digivolution. But Izuku just grows up being very knowledgeable, and he isn't exactly bullied yet, or at all for that part, because Bakugo isn't exactly mean yet, because he's like, I wonder what all is going to happen. So he's not exactly mean yet. Then again, he's going to have a quirk, so that's going to go to his head fast. And Izuku and Bakugo will both have Digimon. They won't be the only ones in the main cast, but just to give you a little tidbit about what you're going to see later. But in this, Izuku is waiting, and on the day of his 6th birthday, he goes up and decides first, I'm going to watch that All Might video. And before And when he gets there, a blinding light appears from the computer as he turns it on. As he looks at it, he sees an egg emerging from the screen, along with what looks to be a phone? No, it isn't actually. It's his Digivice. This being one that is based off of Cross Wars or Digimon Fusion, whichever one you watched, whether it be sub or dub. I do not care. That season was pretty bad. But yeah, he looks at it and grabs it knowing it's a Digimon. When he grabs it, he just immediately feels attached to this egg. He's like, "You are my child." That's how he feels. And he decides, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and tell Mom about this. Grabs the egg and goes off to Inko, who is making breakfast. And when he gets her attention, Inko turns around and sees that Izuku, in fact, has an egg in Digivice. She goes, "Oh, Izuku, look, you have a Digivice and a Digi-Egg. I can't wait to see what they'll Digivolve into." Izuku says, "I can't wait either, Mom." Ingo then asks, "Do you still want to see if you have a quirk?" Izuku says, "Of course I do." Inko says, "Alright, let's eat breakfast first, then we'll go to the quirk doctor. How's that sound?" Izuku is okay with this and eats his breakfast with his egg right next to him. When they finally get to the doctor's office, Izuku is still given the bad news that he won't have a quirk. Though the doctor does say, well, at least you'll still have some Digimon to come with you on that journey that you'll take eventually in your life, kid. In a real sarcastic and monotone voice. Izuku thanks the man for the confidence boost, even though it's really just something the guy has planned pre-said. Almost like those pediatricians who say, "Hey there, sport. I see a football player in you in the future." Goes to the next kid, says the same thing. Really crushes your dreams as a kid. I, of course, didn't have to go through that, but shut up, you're going through that as well. Alright, so back to the actual story. As Izuku's leaving, he's thinking about what his Digimon will be. Will it be one? Will it be two? Will it be more? Since it's the most common thing is to either have one or two Digimon come out of the egg. Rarely do you have three or more. When Izuku gets home, the egg starts to crack a little bit. Izuku gets excited and waits. It doesn't crack anymore, but Izuku just stays with it for the next few days, never letting it leave his side. He does, of course, see that Bakugo does, in fact, have a quirk and a Digi-Egg as well. When Bakugo asks, hey Izuku, where's your Digi-Egg?" Izuku points over to Inko, who forced Izuku to hand over the egg while he's at the playground. Bakugo then asked, "Izuku, do you have a quirk?" Izuku answers with a no, but he does have his Digimon partner or partners coming soon, as he points to the crack that was in fact on his Digi-Egg. A few days later, finally, the egg hatches, and when it does hatch, Izuku is just watching, wondering what he's gonna see. And when he does, two little almost orbs or balls, whichever one you want to say, are standing there looking at him. One is black and one is white. The black one is this little guy right here, Bodemon. He looks at it and says hi. Bodemon just looks at Izuku knowingly, since then there's Yuki Bodemon. Izuku looks at Yuki Bodemon and also says hi. He hugs the two and runs off to tell his mother what he has. When he gets there, he shows off his two Digimon to his mom, who remarks how cute they look. I mean, come on. Look at these two. If you say they aren't adorable, you have something wrong with you. There's no helping you then. But Izuku's so excited. He finally gets to meet his new friends, his new partners. He then looks at his Digivice, which has a glowing light on it, since there's a little screen on the Digivice. He looks at it and presses the button. Yuki, Bodemon, and Bodemon go into the Digivice. Izuku's wondering how to get them back out, and he presses the button again. They come back out. Izuku looks at this and says, that's really cool. As he realizes now, he can transport his Digimon at whatever level they are, at whatever size they are, in the pocket of his pants. Izuku is excited about this and tells the two, who of course are just hungry, since they're trying to digivolve and all that. Because that's just how Digimon evolve when they're young. Eat. So, a few days later, after the whole birth of the two Digimon, they digivolve. Bodemon becomes Koromon, this pink little bubblegum being. While Yuki Bodemon becomes Hyarimon. Izuku is ecstatic that he finally gets to see his two new Digimon partners already digivolve. He's so excited because he thinks of how cute they look. Then, finally, he actually goes to preschool with him since he insisted on bringing them in. When he does, all the kids are watching as they see Izuku bring in his two new Digimon. Everyone is saying how cute they look. Oh. Meanwhile, Bakugo is showing that he has two Digimon as well. Though he couldn't bring them in because they were tired and couldn't come today. But Izuku is just ecstatic. He finally gets to show them to his classmates who are also Bakugo, of course, says something along the lines of, they may be cute, but they're not as cool as my Digimon. Then, I know I'm doing this a lot with the whole few days later, but yeah, I'm not narrating that. So, yep, coming at you with another few days later. A few days later, Izuku is just feeding his Digimon as normal when they start to glow again. Izuku wants to see what his Digimon will look like for most of the time that he's with them, since this will be their level before they go into either champion. So, they'll be the one that he has the most time with. When they digivolve finally, it is Agumon that Koromon becomes, and Belukomon. Izuku looks at them, and they look at him. Agumon and Belukomon are the same height as Izuku. Izuku is just saying, wow, he wants to show his mom immediately, and then Agumon and Belukomon go over to Inko and say hi. Inko, of course, knowing that this is the same two Digimon that came out of the egg, says hello to them, and already it's a nice, pleasant family. Then that same day, Izuku, of course, knowing how to transport his Digimon, brings them with him to his daycare, which they proceed to have fun, but also they freak out the caretakers because they are just thinking there is a tiny T-Rex that can breathe fire, and a little, what is that like an ice dragon thing? I get their Digimon, but they could live. So they are on high alert for that entire day. But that same day, while they're at that, Izuku insists on going to see Bakugo's Digimon. So, Bakugo, of course, being Bakugo, wants to show off his two new Digimon. They have digivolved to the same level as Izuku's, and so Bakugo has Wormmon and Goblinmon. He says how Wormmon looks so cool with how he's colored, and then shows Goblinmon, who's really tough and cool looking in Bakugo's eyes. Personally, to me, just looks stupid like Bakugo. But the two But the two, of course, are being decent friends, since, Bakugo is still a very prideful boy for, 6? But yeah, it's just a fun day for the two. Then Izuku just goes about his life normally. He isn't bullied because he has Blukomon and Agumon always with him. And since, no one doubts his abilities as he is Izuku Midoriya with the Blukomon and Agumon, he's just a nice, kind boy who is pretty confident in his ability to speak with other people and not get nervous around others. That is a few years later when Izuku is around the age of 10. No, 9 actually. 9, I meant to say 9. Izuku is 9 and he is just out with his mom. But then there's a villain attack. And it isn't just any villain. This villain is also attacking with his Digimon. For convenience sake and to reference the Digimon movie, well, not our war game, the first one, that one. Yeah, if you know that one, then you know it. If you don't, sucks to be you, doesn't it? But so the villain has a Parrotmon, and as Izuku and his mother are trying to get away, the Parrotmon knocks down a building, creating some debris. The debris lands on Inko's legs. It does not completely harm her. It just doesn't. She's just pinned under it. Izuku is panicking. He is trying to get the rubble off of his mom while this Parrotmon is flying above him. It lands close to him, and Agumon and Blukomon take to trying to defend Izuku. They try using their special attacks, everything, just from physical combat to special combat, which would just be them using pepper breath and other types of attacks. Nothing is really working since they're still just child-level Digimon. But that is until the Parrotmon tries to attack Izuku. Agumon and Blukomon are watching this in horror. Their friend, no, their brother to them, is about to be attacked and maybe killed. That is when Agumon realizes something. His mission, his objective in life, was to always stay with Izuku, protect him, and help him with his goal. A blinding orange light, as heroes and bystanders alike stop and watch. Agumon's blinding orange light, as it dashes and punches Parrotmon away. When the light is finally gone, instead of where once stood Agumon, now stands... Crap, I forgot to get a photo for it. But now stands Wargreymon. And he is pissed. He is not in the mood to be taking this when his friend was almost killed. Izuku looks up at Wargreymon and says, Agumon? Wargreymon responds, no, Izuku. Right now, I am Wargreymon! As he jumps off the ground and just flies straight at the Parrotmon, who tries to avoid, knowing now that this Digimon is now incredibly more powerful than him. But, you see, Wargreymon was not in the mood for mercy today. He uses Grey Tornado, cutting through one of the wings on the Parrotmon. As it's crippled down, Wargreymon starts charging a Terra Force. Instead, Izuku tells Wargreymon to stop. Wargreymon obliges, seeing as he has to listen to his tamer. He flies down and starts helping moving the debris. Everyone is looking in awe as this Mega level Digimon just came from a kid's partner. A kid. The heroes start helping and have the villain subdued. Wargreymon eventually just de-digivolves, but instead of going back to Agumon, he goes all the way back to Koromon. Koromon was beat tired. So, Izuku put the two back in their Digivice. Ingo was extremely happy. Her son got to be the hero he wanted to be. But before they had the chance to, Izuku hears someone crying, though really not someone, but something. When Izuku finally gets to it, there it is, another Digimon. And that's where I'm going to end it, on a cliffhanger, because I just want to. Now, if you do like this video, do all the things everyone else tells you to do. Like it, comment something, subscribe maybe. I just hope you all enjoyed this. And I will probably make another one soon, since I honestly enjoyed this. Bye.